This video will show how we can export a report from WinText, Backtext or SoftFin to a file that can be opened in a word processor, edited or modified in any way, and then saved as a file that we can send to someone as an attachment to an email. For our demonstration, we will use the report offered in the Life of Capital calculator in WinText 2019. This calculator is also available in all other WinText programs as well as in SoftFin. The procedure we are going to demonstrate in our example works with any reports generated by any of our programs. This is the Life of Capital calculator available from the Financial Tools menu icon in WinText 2019. We have invested an amount of 2 million Rand at 7% per annum, and we are drawing 11,000 Rand a month, escalating at 10% a year. Our tax rate is 18%. The program shows that our money would last for 12 years. Clicking on the amortization button shows the cash flow on an annual basis. If we click on the print button and select that the report must include the amortization table, and then we can send this report straight to the printer, but if we click on the View Export Report button, then a window appears with our report shown in the window. If we had to maximize this window, we could view our report on the screen. This window shows exactly what the report would look like on paper if we'd sent the report straight to the printer. Now, how do we get this report in the form of a file that we can email? If you look carefully at the bottom of this window, you will see an icon looking like a suitcase. This icon allows us to save the report in a file format compatible with other Windows programs. If we click on the suitcase icon, the obvious choice would be to choose compatibility with MS Word, and this will work many of the times. The problem is that not all files with an MS Word .doc extension are compatible with every version of MS Word. We suggest that you select Rich Text Format or RTF as a file extension. Files with an RTF extension can be read using any version of MS Word, right from the earliest versions of Word right up to the latest versions. Having selected Rich Text Format, we now click on OK. Having selected RTF as our file type, we can now tell the program in which folder we want to save the file, and we can also change the default file name. We can tell the program to save the file in any folder we want. In our example, we are busy working in the WT2019 folder, and let's say we are quite happy to save the file in the WT2019 folder. And we named the file with the client's name as joeblogs.rtf. Obviously, if we are working in the SoftFin program, then the default folder for saving the file called joeblogs.rtf will be the SoftFin folder. Note that we do not have to save these files in the default WT2019 or SoftFin folder. We are free to save these files in any folder we wish. In our example here, when we click on Save, then the report file called joeblogs.rtf will be saved in the WT2019 folder. I will now minimize the WinText 2019 program as we are finished with it for the time being, but we will need it later. Next, we need to load this joeblogs.rtf file into a word processor. If we have MS Word, then we can use MS Word for this. You can even call the RTF file into Windows WordPad, but let's load MS Word as we have MS Word 2010 on this computer. Word will normally default to saving and retrieving files in the My Documents folder, but we need to open the WT2019 folder where we saved the joeblogs.rtf file. We use the Open option and ask Word to show us the files in the WT2019 folder on the C drive. And we then find the WT2019 folder and double-click on it to open the folder. Depending on how your copy of Word has been configured, Word will usually show you the files in the WT2019 folder that can be read by Word, and this includes our file called joeblogs.rtf. In this case, the joeblogs.rtf file is the only file in the WT2019 folder that Word would be able to read. Double-clicking on the file name to load the file in our word processor, and there it is in our word processor, ready for editing. There I've changed the font and the style of some of the text, and we can even type in text and add information. After editing, I'm now going to minimize this Word program as we are finished with it for the moment, and I will now maximize the Wintex 2019 program again. If I click on the Graph button, then a 3D color graph is displayed. These graphs offer dozens of features allowing you to manipulate the graphs, but I won't go into all the features. Clicking on the first icon on the Graphs icon toolbar saves this graph picture into memory and allows us to paste the picture into another program. I will now click on this first icon and then minimize the Wintex 2019 program and maximize Word again. I move my cursor to where I want the picture located and right mouse click and then select Paste. And there's our graph added to the report. To save this document for emailing, we select Save As. Once again, we can save this file in the default WT2019 folder, or we can choose a completely different folder. We can also save this file as an RTF file type, or we can change the file type. Keeping the file extension as RTF when you email it as an attachment means that when the recipient receives the email, then the file will open in any version of Word that the recipient may have. If the recipient does not have MS Word, then the file will still open on the recipient's computer in Windows WordPad. An even better option is to change the file type to a PDF if your Word offers this option. You may then send the client JoeBlogs an email with the joeblogs.rtf file or the joeblogs.pdf file attached. Using the assessment summary report in Wintex 2019 in our next example, where we need to view and export extra reports, we tick the extra reports we need to be printed along with the actual assessment summary report. You can see here that we have asked for one extra report, namely the tax certificate information report. When we click on View and Export, then the two reports will be printed on the screen separately. You will only see the last report we asked for, but any other reports we asked for will all be hidden behind this report, so we must click on the label line and drag this top report away to reveal the other reports. Each of these separate reports must be exported to separate files using the suitcase icons at the bottom of each window. The separate files we create this way can all be merged together into a single document using Windows copy and paste function in a word processor such as MS Word. You can then edit the final document in Word and save it as a single RTF file or even as a PDF file to be sent as an attachment to an email.